Hey guys, Chris here. Tonight I'm actually going to do a shaving video, and it's kind of been long overdue for me to talk about this product line. To be honest with you, when I first started out with them, I was not the biggest fan of them, but I was a fan of the guy who produced the stuff, and that would be Douglas Smythe, formerly known as How to Grow a Mustache, but now as Pheonix Artisan Accoutrements. But basically, my problems with them has been basically my expectations. The first product I got from them was Cavendish, and I was really expecting something along the lines of like a tobacco smoke, and what I ended up getting was fresh tobacco in the bag, which isn't bad, it just wasn't what I was expecting. It nailed exactly what it is you'd be looking for if that's the type of product you were looking for. My second product that I got was the Beach, and I had to get that as a Seinfeld fan, and I got it. Sure enough, it smelled like the Beach. The issue for me was a little bit more of a gimmick product. Some guys love it. It smells just like the Beach, but it was a little bit too sweet for me, so I ended up letting it go. But then I came across CaD. This is Synergy 2.0. It's not the kind of clear amber puck. This is your harder soap, and I have to tell you, it's supposed to smell like Barbasol or some kind of classic shaving cream, and God, does it nail it. This stuff is incredible. I love the smell of it. If I'm looking for a barbershop soap, this is the one that I pick up. This is kind of my everyday barbershop scent. If I'm going to go for something a little bit more special, I'm going to grab my True Fit and Hill Grafton. But this, for me, nailed where American Blend for Razor Rock really kind of failed. And I really, really love this stuff. It's a puck sniffer. It really is. Love it. So that's what I'm going to be using here tonight, and I'm going to be using the entire line. I'm going to be using the soap, then I'm going to go with a balm, and then with the aftershave cologne. Hardware tonight is going to be as follows. My Shavecraft 102 slant. I've just been a slant user ever since my wife stole my Shavecraft 101. I've been left with my 102 and my first gen slant, so I've kind of had to adapt to slants. It's what I use most of the time now. And the blades I'm going to use in it are something a little bit different than I normally use. I normally use feather, high stainless, but ones that I found that that I experiment with and I kind of like, especially in slant razors, is pull silvers. Pull silvers are really nice and smooth. They don't have that kind of first shave irritation that I get with feathers. Feathers are great. They last a longer time than these do, but right out of the gate, these work a lot better for me. So that's what I'm going to be using tonight. And then I'm going to be using my my V-Long. This is one made for bull goose shaving. V-Long Beehive horsehair brush. This thing is a monster. Very scritchy, has a lot of backbone to it, but the thing is just awesome. This is what I use when I've been doing stuff that's particularly dirty and my face just feels like it needs a good exfoliation. This is the thing I'm going to pick up. So that's what I'm going to be using here tonight. I'm just going to kind of wet the puck here a little bit, and I'm just going to face lather tonight, which is kind of different for me. So I just want to go ahead and get to it. And as you can see, this puck pretty much immediately starts to lather up. With this horsehair brush, man, it will just dig. And the thing with the horsehair brush that you've got to be very careful. Well, first of all, it's got a definite equine smell. I used to work every once in a while and help out on my uncle's farm, and I would help in the horse stables. And so the smell of stagnant horse urine is seared into my brain. And so for that reason, when I picked up this brush, at first it was not very appealing to me because it brought back those smells. But I don't have to deal with that anymore. You're going to find some very fine hairs in there, but you're also going to find some extremely coarse ones. So keep that in mind if you're going to be getting a horsehair brush. There's a reason it's used for stuff like violin string or violin bow strings and so forth. So it can be very, very coarse. So I've got my my brush all loaded up here. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm working on about 3 days worth of growth. Figure it's better to get this out of the way tonight instead of tomorrow morning. Getting ready to go to church, and my wife kind of tends to monopolize the bathroom. So, yeah, this brush, it has softened up a little bit. One thing you definitely have to keep in mind with the horsehair brush is the hairs, they tangle extremely easily. And if you don't take just a couple extra minutes at the end of your shave to comb the hair out, just get like a very wide tooth comb and run it through it, even like a hair pick, it will tangle, and it's a pain in the neck to get them out. So, as you can see, I've got a very dense, thick lather with How to Grow a Mustache, Pheonix Accoutrements, CAD. Now, so let's go ahead and get started here. The thing that I really like about slant razors is my blades and my slants last a little bit longer than they do in my 102 or in my 101, for the reason that I usually am able to get away with a 2-pass shave. And tonight my hair is a little bit longer, so we'll see what it is we can do. But I've yet to use a slant that I haven't been able to get pretty much baby butt smooth with a 2-pass shave. So let's go ahead and get started. So I don't go with the grain. I go across the grain first. And very good. Lots of slickness left there. And the smell is just really, really spot on. And it lasts too. You know, I hate these products that you go ahead and you lather it up and you can't really smell it for any marked period of time. And we'll talk about that a little bit more when we get to the aftershave regimen here. So it took me forever to finally get this stuff. You know, it came out as Barber Pole and Barber Soul, which I gotta tell you, that was just such a bulletproof name. Only to have Barbasol, which I always thought was Barbasol, not Barbersol. Only to have Barbasol come through and send the famous cease and desist. But it was such a perfect name, and to name it in a tongue-in-cheek way, CAD, was kind of funny. So here I'm going to take a little bit of a risk. I'm just going to go against the grain first pass on the neck with a pole silver. And typically speaking, a feather on first pass, brand new, will not mow that down without really tugging. So I'm really happy with that. And actually, I'm using my last pole silver blade. My wife got into wet shaving, so she wanted to use feathers, so I went to Maggard's and purchased a sampler pack and decided I would get a couple different brands that I think I had heard Chris Bailey talking about. So I said, hey, why don't we give these others a try, see how they work. And I believe Pulse Silvers were one of the ones that he talked about. And honestly, I can't remember about how much they were a blade, but I think I remember Chris saying that they were really expensive, but in my experience, they weren't, at least compared to feathers, which I'm buying all the time. So, okay, let's get a rinse off here and lather up for our second or last pass. And typically I'll take kind of that excess lather rub it around on my face. It kind of gets you a little base coat of slickness to work with. And I'll just wet the tip of the brush here and lather up for the second pass. I love this brush because the handle is just so huge. And it's got this, I'm typically a bowl lather guy, so the brush will stay resting on the rim of the bowl. And whereas I've got like my Duke 2 or my Semogue 1438, they lack a very pronounced rim to rest the brush on. But this one does not. It's got a very deep groove here, so it doesn't fall into the water and submerge the knot, which is kind of nice. But it's the biggest, heftiest brush that I have, and I love it. Doesn't get used as much, but it's a specialty item for me. It's kind of, you know, calling in the heavy infantry for me. So let's go ahead and get up here. Now, as I've said, I've been very happy with this slant bar. It's performed just as good as the 1.0 or as the Generation 1, and imagine the Generation 2 for half the price and half the maintenance, which in turn for you means half the risk in your investment. So do a little bit of cleanup there. Neck is completely clean, and that's pretty cool for a 2-passer. And I'll quickly clean up here on the jawline. Get the sides of the mouth. I'm working on my like first or fourth quadrant or whatever the hell Charles Roberts calls this. I really need some cutting balm. Whatever. I'm typically able to just clean up the mustache area with a quick turn of blade buffing. And we get the chin. Bald. All right. So that's it for our actual shave. Let's talk a little bit about the post here when I get cleaned up. Okay, so for post, we're going to use the balm and the aftershave cologne. The balm comes in this nice little pump bottle, which I really, really like. The balm that I usually go to, this is, let's just pretend that this is something other than Zepapino. It's a different one. But this cap for Razor Rock, you snap it closed, and typically if you have some fresh balm in there, you get a balm grenade. It just goes flying everywhere, okay? So for that reason, I kind of don't like these bottles. Then Douglas sent me this bottle, and I really, really enjoy it. It's very, very easy to use. No mess, no waste. Just take a little bit here, and I mean, it's really good for doing incremental amounts. I mean, you can put a little tiny bit in there, you can put a lot in there. It's about all I use. And I'll go ahead and I'll put that on. Now, one thing I will say about this, the menthol smell is extremely prominent up front. I mean, it hits you as soon as you squirt it out of the bottle. Now, I don't know what everyone's fascination is with menthol. To me, it just smells like medicine, okay? But this does die off pretty quick, and I was surprised about that because when I first smelled it, I said, I'm going to smell like, you know, topical ointment all day. And I don't. I feel pretty good. It goes away pretty fast, and just put the little top here on, and you're fine. Now, in the interest of full disclosure, I want to actually thank Douglas. He's taken a fair amount of heat, and I, at the time, was not necessarily a huge fan of his products, and I defended Douglas. Right, wrong, or indifferent, I feel the way that I do. Now, I did ask Douglas, I said, you know, I really loved CAD. I really just want a sample. Can you send me a sample of the balm and the aftershave? Because I really, I love that smell, and I don't want to plunk down the money until I kind of know what it smells like. And Douglas was very, very helpful and said, absolutely, just give me your address. And he sent it out there. Now, I was quite taken aback and very surprised when I came home and there was a box, and it wasn't just a small envelope, but he had actually put the full product in there, both the aftershave and the cologne, completely free of charge. So I think that my viewers or people in the white shaving community know or have seen my videos enough to know that I don't just randomly throw out praise. I've been sent free products before, and I have basically tore them apart. So I'm really not being partial, or I'm not being biased when I say that I really like this stuff. It makes my skin feel really nice and smooth, and the smell is just great. Particularly the aftershave aftershave and cologne, which I'm going to put on here now. It's one of those things that the staying power is really good, and I know this because one of the things that kind of sucks in shaving or using any fragrance at all is how we never get to smell the goodness that other people around us get to smell. And if I shave, you know, a couple hours before my son's bedtime, he and I will sit on a little rocking chair and I'll read him stories at night. And he'll put his head against my chest, and I'll put my my face kind of in his in the back of his head, you know what I mean? Kind of feel close to my son. And then the next morning I'll wake up and I'll be able to smell that cologne still in his hair. So overnight, with baby farts and whatever it else is he does in there, he still comes out smelling like CAD aftershave, which I have to tell you is kind of cool. It's a nice little reminder of the shave you had last night and the way that you smell for others. So hats off, Douglas. You made a really great product line here. And as I said, basically now that I have this, it is the only product that I have where I own the entire line of that particular scent profile. So CAD is great. If you don't have it, pick it up. I'm not necessarily certain how it smells or how it lathers up and how it stands up in the 2.5 version, but I've heard it's even better. So check out Pheonix Artisan Accoutrements and definitely give them some support. They really make a fantastic product, and you just can't beat what it is that they do in the amount that they do it. So thank you, Douglas. Hats off to you. Best of luck to you in your new venture with Francis. And guys, check them out and pick up some of their products. I know you'll really enjoy them. All right, well, that's our shave for tonight. I'm cleaned up, I'm feeling good, and I'm ready for some wine and maybe a movie. So have a good night, guys. We'll see you later.